Hello everyone, this is Steve with Aptera Owners Club. So Arcimoto is not doing well. There was an article published today, January 18th, 2023, that says that Arcimoto has idled their factory and is warning of potential bankruptcy. And if you remember, Arcimoto has this fun utility vehicle, FUV, that's also their stock symbol. And you can buy this for $18,000, and then they had all these different variants. This one was 25,000, 23,000. Evidently, they were losing money on this at selling it for 17,900, and this one had decent margins. When they had their interview with I forget which YouTube channel that was, but they had an interview with Fronemeyer and their new CEO, and you could just tell from the look on their face that things were not going well. And they had this like lean mean machine, which I thought was kind of odd to begin with when they first announced it. Anyways, they were having a great run. At one point, their shares were up to $637 a share. Now they're down to $2.48 a share. And if you look at the last 5 days, just today there was a huge. They were at yesterday they were at $6.12, and then today they plummeted over 60% to the low $2. And this huge drop is because of two things. One, they announced that they are idling their factory and they might go bankrupt. And what they did is they decided to release 4,000 shares, 4 million shares at $3 each. And that is something I found out. I suspect that this is something called a follow-on offering, which is when a company, and there's two kinds. There's a diluted and a non-diluted. This, I believe, is a diluted uh, follow-on offering where they issue more shares. It dilutes the shares of their existing shareholders, but it raises capital. Usually they use this to refinance debt and get rid of debt. But in this case, it looks like Arcimoto is using this to raise capital to operate on because they just have no cash. We have halted our production and we will require substantial additional funding to resume production. So they just basically ran out of money. They cannot afford to buy any more things. They can't pay their suppliers. They can't pay their workers. They just ran out of money. They have laid off 50 and furloughed another 66. They still can't get ahead of the cash burn. They only produced 252 vehicles and delivered 115 in 6 months. So I think they have both a production and a demand problem because at these prices, it's very hard to sell this, I think. This is $25,000 for what is essentially has about the same amount of utility as a motorcycle. And I would say if I had to choose between an FUV and a Nimbus, which of course the Nimbus doesn't exist, but I would definitely go for the Nimbus. This is $10,000. It just looks cooler to me too. Um, so number one, I think that their market wasn't very large. I don't think the market for a Nimbus is very large as well. It's like an enclosed motorcycle. Whereas the Aptera, while being classified as an enclosed motorcycle, an autocycle, it is more like a car in that it has a lot of space. You can go on long road trips with it. Like you would not go cross country in a Nimbus or an Arcimoto. This is just for putting around town. You with an Aptera, you could go on road trips. You could take it to the mountains. You could take it to the beach. You could go visit the next city over. You can go for several hundred miles. You're just not going to do trips of several hundred miles in either one of these vehicles. So they are neighborhood vehicles, and I don't think there's a large market for them, unfortunately. So this is kind of a sad thing. I feel really bad for Arcimoto. I really like them as a company, and I thought they had the right idea of selling what they called right-sized vehicles. And Aptera is kind of along the same vein where they're selling what we think as a right-sized vehicle. We don't need a 6,000-pound SUV with 3 rows that can seat, 8 people. Uh, just to transport one person around, which is what these large SUVs are doing, 90% of the time. So there is a need for, these right-sized vehicles. And unfortunately, it looks like Arcimoto is probably going into bankruptcy. They said back in October that it was seeking strategic alternatives, which is a euphemism that companies use when they put their businesses up for sale. But I don't see anyone buying Arcimoto. They're just, it's not an extremely compelling vehicle. And if you're making a vehicle that's not extremely compelling, you better at least make it price competitive. But I don't think it's price competitive either. So they're just not. It's not a compelling enough vehicle to charge this price. And then even at the price they were charging, they were still losing money. So they couldn't manufacture efficiently, and then plus I think their demand fell off. So unfortunately, that's what happened. It was doing well. At one point, it had a valuation that was in excess of $1 billion, I think, and now its market cap is down to $6 million. All right. Well, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I mean, do you think Arcimoto is going to make it, or are they going to become defunct and declare bankruptcy? Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks to our supporting members, and have a great day, everyone.